spent in a miserable way.
U.S. News FBI releases final report on Las Vegas sh00ting without determining motive. Las Vegas Loc. Stephen Paddock unleashed his rampage through two broken windows at the Mandalay Bay Hotel FOX5. Stephen Paddock unleashed his rampage through two broken windows at the Mandalay Bay Hotel FOX5. Las Vegas AP. The FBI has concluded its investigation into the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history without determining a motive. The FBI makes the conclusion in a report given to the Associated Press on Tuesday. After nearly 6 years, Aaron Rouse is the special agent in charge of the FBI's Las Vegas office. He says Rouse says the reason for Paddock's rampage remains a mystery after months of study by agents and behavioral specialists. Las Vegas police closed their investigation in August also without a motive. The report states the following. The LVRP's analysis highlighted 10 key findings regarding potential motivating factors as well as Paddock's pre-attack behaviors. 1. The LVRP. 2. The LVRP. 3. Investigated. 4. The LVRP. 5. The LVRP. 6. Exhaustive investigation. 7. Throughout his life. 8. There is no evidence. 9. Prior to the attack.
Raindrop, drip, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.